New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Caring for Caregivers.
Hello, Donna. Guys. I'm Norma.
And we are your Phoenix is Rising. And we are doing this segment of Caring for Caregivers. And who are we? Well, I am a registered nurse. I am also a mother, and I cared for my elderly mom. So I'm a daughter that cares. I'm also a spiritual practitioner at Center for Spiritual Living, Ocala. And and I'm also a Reiki master. So I really do care a lot.
That's a lot.
I'm a healer. I just, whatever modality I can use for healing is what I do. So, it's multifaceted.
Yes. And I am Norma Anderson. I am a massage therapist. I also am a Reiki master, science of mind practitioner at CSL Ocala. And I, too, helped to care for her mom for several years, and also my aging sister in the last 5 or 6 years of her life. So I, too, am a caregiver. I don't do the in-depth, yucky stuff that nurses do, but I realize what's mine to do, and that's what I do.
Yes. And so you understand that in order for us to be able to care for others, we have to first care for ourselves.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And that's why we decided to do this, because different tools have worked for us in the past. And we have discovered in all our travel nursing, COVID nursing, whatever else kind of nursing, massaging that we have done, is that caregivers just don't tend to replenish our cups, especially when you're in the middle of giving that care.
For sure. We're always focused on what we need to do next. How can we help? How else can we do what it is that's needed for the person or persons that we're caring for, that we leave out
us. Yes. So here we are. We had to try to figure out something. We're like, man, healthcare is beaten up on our people, nurses and techs, and those of us who have been on the front lines of COVID crazy are being, beaten down. And, when you're dealing with children, raising children in today's world, and we're, raising, oh my gosh, my mom would just, but, caring for your mother or your father or your grandma, that kind of thing in a world that seems chaotic, but that this person needs some extra love. And here we are just giving and giving and giving. How do we replenish? That is where we are.
Yeah. Because, as like you were saying, the nurses and techs in the hospital, that's a very physically demanding job.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of doing and doing and doing. But when you're caring for your family member, it may not be as physically taxing sometimes, but that's where the mental and emotional exhaustion, just really hits hard. And sometimes that can be worse than the physical.
I'm telling you, that's part of it. When I was just, well, not just, there is never just when it comes to techs in a hospital. Oh my God, these people are the backbone of the healthcare industry. The techs that do the day-to-day grimy work. And I bet you they don't do that kind of thing for themselves. They give so much and then they turn around. Hi, Bonnie, how are you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank you so much. Don't you just love that painting on the wall? We found this virtual background and we're trying not to move around too much because it's being funky. But man, that painting just does everything. I love to dance. I love music. And to see it. Yes, Debs, right? Does everything. I just love art. And that's part of caring for, we'll talk about art one of these days. Okay, so today we're talking about caring for caregivers. Sometimes we as nurses overextend ourselves. Let me go back to what Bonnie was saying. Sometimes we as nurses are too exhausted for self-care. Please speak to that issue. Absolutely. That's why we're doing this.
Why we're here.
Bonnie, this is why we're doing this show. Is because you give so much because it's necessary, because you're feeling like this person, it's one more box you have to check and one more thing you have to do and one more pushing, and how come the production isn't this and that is that, and did you document the da-da-da? And while you're doing all of that, because if you don't do it, it could mean your job, it could mean your record
Or someone's life.
Or somebody's life. You have tools that you can reach into to replenish yourself as you're going. And these are the tools that we're talking about. These are the things we're talking about. So today we're going to talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness.
Mm-hmm. So
it sounds like this woo-woo thing that, it's so kumbaya and all of that. But mindfulness, let us break it down for you.
Let's do our centering moment first.
We should do the centering moment. Norma's going to take us into a mindfulness moment.
A very quick, to show you how quickly this can do for you. So if we just take a moment right where we sit or stand, if you're able to close your eyes, do so. Just take a deep breath. Hold it for a couple of seconds. And release slowly. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in. Hold it for a few seconds. And release it slowly. And as we're continuing to focus on these breaths that we're intentionally breathing in and out, focus on what it is that your body is feeling right now. The thought that was just on your mind just before closing your eyes. Did I turn off the stove before sitting here? Is my back hurting a little bit? Maybe you smelled dinner cooking from the other room. Common one for a lot of nurses, my feet are killing me. So just take a little body check and see exactly what it is. Maybe your hands are tingling from too many massages today. It's a quick self-assessment. Taking a moment to just be. Out of the doingness of our day, just a quick 30 seconds to just be. We are human beings after all, not human doings. It's a quick way for you to just reset your mind, reoxygenate your cells, and get a quick reset. One more deep cleansing breath in. Hold for a few seconds. And with a big sigh of release, breathe out. Yes. And that should bring us right back to our doingness that we're here for this hour.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was so wonderful. And I don't know if you noticed this, but Norma didn't say, think about it and then judge it. It's just
acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it. So when you were saying that in that mindfulness moment, I did acknowledge that my back was hurting. Making my video stick a bit.
You know.
Okay. Well, we're working on it. But that mindfulness moment that Norma just put us into, just in that moment, I was like, oh yeah, my back does hurt. I could pinpoint the exact spot. And so I just kind of did a deep breath and just sent, just knowing that the breath was going to that spot. And I wasn't even thinking about why is it hurting and how much it's hurting. I just acknowledged that it was hurting.
And the other thing that I didn't mention, though, is when you're thinking about these things and you're feeling your feelings, send love to it, whether it's an emotion, whether it's an actual feeling. Just send love and light to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the other part of the healing, the mindfulness.
Yeah, it's the non-judgment. So we're going to talk about mindfulness today. I'm so excited that you guys joined us. So this is the type of meditation in the Mayo Clinic says this, in which you focus on being aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment without judgment or interpretation. That's what the Mayo Clinic says mindfulness is. So let me repeat that. It's a type of meditation in which you focus on being aware of what you are sensing and feeling in the moment without judgment or interpretation. So just taking a second to go, what am I feeling in this moment? And then don't judge it. Don't get so caught up in that, which is a chatter. We all know that chatter shows up. So now is what we're going to talk about when we've used this in the past, in our experiences as caregivers. For me, I have used this. This is probably one of my go-to things that I use on the floor. When I am right before I walk into my new patient's room, I do it when we're getting report, I'm talking to the other nurse, and I usually stop just for a moment before I go into that room, and I take a deep breath in, and I center myself, and then go in the room. For me, it's that little quick mindfulness moment to just be aware that this is not the same person I just left in the other room. I have to honor this person and what they're going through. And it's something that they teach us in nursing school, to just know that this patient is different from that patient over there. When you're there and you're getting bombarded, Thank you, Bonnie. Yes, definitely. When you're getting bombarded with the feelings and the pain and the things that are in your head saying, I need to complete the following tasks before the end of this shift, or before the end of the day, or before the end of this hour, or whatever it is, and you're going through that as a caregiver, and you're being bombarded with the idea that the person that you're trying to care for is either fighting you or screaming at you or not doing the right thing, or they're in their pain, or they don't understand you anymore because they have Alzheimer's or dementia, or they're screaming because they're a baby, or whatever the deal is, just taking that little moment to just say, okay, I'm going to be mindful not only of my own self, check in on my body, and what does my body need? Oh yeah, my body needs to pee. In this moment, wait, let me go pee. Yeah, that really is sometimes the thing that comes up for me, but I use it all the time and going into patient rooms for that reason. So that way I can show up for them, for each person, and show up for myself.
Well, I think it's a great tool to use particularly when you're giving care for family members, and particularly with children. And, Reverend Cindy likes to quote Viktor Frankl, who says, between stimulus and response, there's a pause.
That space. Yeah.
There's a space in which you have an opportunity to think about how you are going to act or react to whatever the stimulus was. And it's a great opportunity to use mindfulness and because really what mindfulness is a quick check on yourself, to see how what it is that you're feeling, how maybe something is about to cause you to react, and think about it for a second before. So taking a deep breath, pausing, and just waiting. Wait for that immediate row to pass. That immediate attack mode. Yes, and it comes in handy, and it helps for a peaceful transaction, whether it's with a parent or child or a patient. Anytime there's any kind of external stimulus that may cause you to react unpleasantly, take a moment, take a deep breath, and just hold for a moment. And usually that'll change what your immediate reaction was going to be.
I use it a lot with figuring out where my boundaries are.
Oh, I have no problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with boundaries. No, but I have to figure out where my boundaries. Sometimes that's how I knew, because for a long time there, I didn't know I had boundaries. I had not been practicing healthy boundaries, so I couldn't tell people where my boundaries were because I didn't know I had any. I just would let people do whatever, and I would kill myself trying to make them all happy. And then it would just be too much. It would just strip me raw and bare. And then I would be anxious and anxiety ridden and always going through stuff. And so that was when I was like, okay, I start to take that nice deep breath in. I take a moment and I do a check-in on my body. And my body usually will tell me, I have a stomach ache. Usually tells me this doesn't feel good. You're stepping into something that doesn't feel good. Or my head will start to feel like kind of lightheaded. And, oh yeah, this is going to take a lot of energy. Really, how much space can you hold right now? And then before I say yes or no, I do that. Even if I don't feel like I have like a choice. For example, I get a patient that is really difficult. And before I step into that space, I do that little check-in on my body and I say, okay, how much space can I hold for them? And if the answer is I can't hold that much, then I tell myself I need to block and not carry myself into their story. Where sometimes I carry myself into people's story and tap into my that side of me that's compassionate, that listens and cares and fluffs pillows and all of that stuff. And sometimes people will take advantage of that heart that you have as a nurse. So what you have to do, some people you have to lay a healthy boundary with. You are not calling me in here every 5 seconds because you're lonely. I have stuff to do. We will talk, then I have to leave. And those patients will keep on the bell. So it tells me, okay, where am I? Oh yes, my back is hurting, my head is going because I have 5 million other things to do. This is the boundary I'm going to set.
And if you communicate those boundaries, once you've done the inner work in that 30-second period or whatever, and you realize what's yours to do and what you're not going to do, and you communicate that with we'll call them the protagonist in this story, usually you get a good response or reaction from them because you're reasoning with them instead of just saying, stop hitting that call bell. Give them the reason why hitting that call bell doesn't serve anybody's purpose, that you do have other patients that require your attention. And sometimes in that, oh, okay, you're not just sitting at the desk waiting to find out what I want next. So
I like people to see us as human. I like my patients to see me as a human being because unfortunately all they see is the scrubs and we're like We're machines and they pay good money to be there. And so everything you do should be 5-star hotel because you're here for my every whim. And we have to let them know that we're human and that we're here to serve because we love to take care of people and that others are sick too. And we're needed there as well.
That there's other residents in that 5-star hotel?
Oh, yes. Other people. So Bonnie was the one I was talking about. As nurses, we are too exhausted for self-care. If we don't set those healthy boundaries, we talked about boundaries a couple of episodes ago. We got to set healthy boundaries. If we don't, guess what? You don't have nothing else to give. So when you get home, your poor family gets fumes. They're getting fumes anyway sometimes. But you have to be responsible for your own self-care. And that's where the mindfulness comes from. If you do that self-check-in throughout your day, while you're on your shift, wherever you are, you do that self-check-in, you'll start to learn, and your body will tell you what you will or will not put up with. And then you hold yourself to that esteem.
And sometimes it doesn't just work. You don't need to just do it sometimes when you have patients. Sometimes it's coworkers. Sometimes it's even the charge nurse that's being unrealistic of what they're asking you to do on top of the 9 million other things that you already do. So, it's knowing what's yours to do, figuring out how you can carry out the things that you have to do. And then you'll know what it is that you can add to that from what may be on somebody else's list.
What is mine to do? And if it's this, and this, then that's what I'm doing. And then everything outside of that, and that includes myself. So I go out of my way to do these practices while I'm at work, because if not, then I can't pay attention to my body, and my body will start to send me signals. And then diarrhea and all kinds of stuff happens at work. And I'm not the only one. We've been asking other nurses and talking to techs and doctors and residents and finding out what kind of things are happening to our healthcare providers.
And a lot of times the healthcare providers, particularly the nurses and techs, they feel like they're being selfish because they take 5 minutes for themselves to go and use the bathroom, even not even to go outside and just take a breath of fresh air, but just go get a drink of water because 206 needs this and 219 needs that, and I gotta go do this. But it's not called being selfish at all. It's called self-love. Because if you don't take those minutes to replenish and refill and sometimes empty your cup by using the bathroom, you can't take care of their needs very well.
But it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. And the reason I say that is because I know where that feeling of, oh, I don't want to be selfish comes from, because I know that I go through this. And we're talking about those people who are just going and going and going, not the ones who just come in, punch the clock, and leave. I'm talking about people who are like just running the entire time. Those are the caregivers that I'm talking about. Those of you, yourself, where you are giving and will not stop to take care of yourself. What you need to do is you need to put yourself in there somewhere as well. You got to take care of you too. And this is the way that you can do it. You ask yourself what your body needs. The only way to do that is to be mindful of it. To be mindful of what's happening in your mental state, mindful of what's happening in your spiritual state. Oh my gosh, I just lost a patient. Where am I? How am I feeling? Give yourself a moment.
You're not a machine.
You're not a machine.
You're not a machine.
You're a human being with needs and wants and desires. Give yourself the moment. And sometimes in the middle of taking care of somebody, you need a moment. Give yourself a moment. Especially when you have somebody that's safe, you just make sure they're safe first. And then once you know that their body is safe, that patient's safely in the bed, or that baby is safely in the crib, or that elder is safely in his chair or whatever, you make sure they're safe, and you walk away and go have a moment and do a check-in. Ask your body what it needs.
Yeah, I like Bonnie's comment there. We need to encourage each other to take our well-needed breaks and lunch, and encourage each other in the area of self-care, just like we're doing now. Because, sometimes you get so stuck in the doingness that you forget that you need to take care of yourself. So that's where you step in and say, hey, I noticed you've been going all morning. You need to stop, take a break, go get a drink of water, do something as care for yourself, because particularly the nurses, like you mentioned before, that are caregivers, they really care, so it's like you don't want to miss anything that the patients want, but you're missing everything that you need. Yes. So if we step in for each other, you guys do it as, concerned coworkers, that'll help, say, go ahead, I got your patients for 5 minutes. Go, go do something for yourself.
But see, that's the thing. It's like, when can you do that? When you're also drowning is the thing. And that's where the catch-22 comes in. Like, you want to help each other. But then you see the person over there that's doing nothing. They're on their cell phone, or they're just ignoring the bell, or and you're like, really, you don't hear the bell going off? It's annoying everyone. It's been ringing for 5 minutes, really, and you're on your phone. Those people, you just don't want to be that person, and that's why you're like, oh, let me not sit and take a moment. But that's different.
Mm-hmm.
That's very different when you're sitting and taking a moment for yourself, or stepping outside. Just go downstairs, step outside into the fresh air, being mindful. What does my body need? And then do that thing. My body needs water. Maybe I need to go to the bathroom. Maybe I just need a moment away from the bells. 5 minutes. Because that is, the stimulation is a lot.
Yeah, because I've heard you say it several times where I didn't even have, you'll finally get a time for lunch at, 3:00 in the afternoon. And say, I never even got a chance to go to the bathroom. And I thought that was just because I know your work ethic and how you push yourself and what have you. But I've heard other techs and other people say that too. It's like, we didn't even have a minute to stop and go to the bathroom. How unhealthy is that?
It is very unhealthy. We get a lot of UTIs. Is very prevalent within the nursing community. Back problems are prevalent in healthcare, especially those with boots on the ground, nurses and techs. We are doing bedside, where you're preventing people from falling and breaking something, or, hurting themselves, or you, God forbid. So it says it in the books, right? Just go ahead and you got to do this certain thing, and this is how you lift the patient, and this is how you turn the da-da-da. And then you go to do it, and then you have somebody that has dementia that goes one way, and you're trying to go another way. Or they get scared. No, really, it's a scare thing, because now you're holding them and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I just had surgery. I don't want to hurt myself because it hurts. Now what? And you keep doing it over and over, and then to the next patient, and then to the next thing, and then the next thing over there, and the next thing. And before you know it, you forgot that you had to pee an hour ago.
Yeah.
And that's how we're doing this.
Because, again, have you seen hairdressers with the worst looking hair, head? I'm a massage therapist, and I need a massage so bad. You caregivers, you nurses, I should say, you guys just neglect yourselves.
And we know better. That's what's so bad. We know this. We know what it does to our bodies. We know what it's going to do to our mind and spirit. And yet, here we are, just pushing and pushing and pushing. We're telling you that you can do little tiny things, like a mindfulness moment in 10 seconds throughout your shift, to help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or to help lift your spirits when you're down, to hum to yourself, to sing, even if you don't think you can carry a tune. It doesn't matter. Hum to yourself, because it helps to raise your vibrations and gives you serotonin. Dopamine. Sorry.
But a lot of the tools that we've talked about is stuff to do after work or before work to prepare yourself, or afterwards to relieve, whatever. This is something while you're in the moment, while you're going through it, while you're just needing some reprieve.
Yes. And that nice deep breath will oxygenate your body, and it will help to break down the fight or flight response, so that then you can show up. Just 10 seconds of deep breathing.
Mm-hmm. It's powerful.
It's very powerful stuff. We're going to talk about it some more. But first, we're going to go to our break, because we're at commercial time. Please come back.
Join us in a few.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment, and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
So Kathy, What's the experience been like so far here at the Transformation Vacation?
To say transformational is not quite big enough. It has been so amazing. The people have been amazing. The food, the beaches are exactly what you expect them to be. You can see through it. I went snorkeling and saw starfish and all kinds of beautiful fish. It's been amazing. And most importantly, everyone who said yes to this has just been inspirational and really just a connection is made that will last a lifetime.
It will. It
Yes.
so will.
It will.
So I can't wait to see y'all next time. Come on to Jamaica, man. Don't forget, yeah, man. I love that commercial so much. Thank you so much, Joe. That is just so good.
Talk about a great way to care for caregivers.
Well, that's why we decided to start doing that thing, because we were like, okay, what can we do? What do we need? We need a damn vacation. We've been working so hard. And then we're like, wait a minute. I've always been told that people love to go to Jamaica, but are always like, we don't really want to do the tourist thing. And the other thing being from Jamaica is like, we really don't want to do that either. So we decided to do like a hybrid thing. And what we did was we rented the entire villa.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's an amazing villa.
Absolutely incredible. Tingalea's in the Grill, Jamaica. It's on the cliffside, but they have their own little beachy area. Anyway, Tingalea's has a garden side, so you feel like you're in the Amazon. It's so beautiful. All the trees and plants, and they have their own garden there.
And it's all individual cottages, so you don't like share
a
wall with anybody.
Yeah, it's not like one big thing. It's all individual little spaces. And we eat together. Everybody on the resort is just in our group. So we get to eat together and hang out together. And everything is all included because we created it that way.
Including the excursions.
Including the excursions.
We pick you up from the airport and take you back.
And take you back. Everything is included. The only thing that we encourage is the tipping. We have like envelopes at the end of the week for the staff, because we really get to know the staff and they become deep friends, and we just absolutely love these people and they care for us for a whole week. When we tell you no problem, you get the Irie.
No problem.
Irie.
Rev Cindy's on. Hi, Rev.
What's up, Rev?
But also other than the tipping, you have to pay for your COVID test on the way back.
So right now in this travel climate, yes, you do have to pay for your COVID test to come back, and your airfare you pay for, because people are coming from all over the place and there was no way for us to gauge that one. But it's definitely an experience that you will never forget. And we drop you into Jamaica. You get to experience it like a tourist with all the stuff of the tourism, but you also get to experience it like family with the actual staff and the people and our friends and our family too. We all just kind of hang out together.
Yeah,
it's really fun. So consider coming with us. It's really fun. The last week of October
25th through November 1st. So we'll be there for All Hallows Eve.
Yay! A sacred day on my sacred land, and talking to my mama on Samhain. It will be amazing. So let us get back to mindfulness, shall we?
Yes, since that's why we're here this week.
Yeah, we had lots and lots of mindfulness moments when we were in Jamaica. In that pool. In the pool. The pool is fed by the ocean, you guys. So you're sitting in ocean water, and it's just incredible. And they pump it out every couple of days and pump it back in. There's little fish and stuff. And it was good to be able to sit in that mindfulness moment and just say, whoa, how am I feeling right now?
Yeah. Yes. We call it transformation vacation for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So there's 7 principles of mindfulness that I found, and it's non-judgment. So when you're in that mindfulness moment, you're not thinking, oh my gosh, my back is hurting and it's because of
room 202 that made me do this and that. No,
don't go.
Not where you go.
Don't go there. The golden bubble of peace. That's right. The other thing is patience, because you have to be patient with yourself to just not rush it. Don't rush it when you're doing it. You have to have an open mind. Miss Cindy, Reverend Cindy, you have to have an open mind when you're doing this practice. So when you do it, you're not doing the practice going, why am I breathing? This is stupid. I don't think this is gonna help.
So it's not
me
gonna help
somewhere.
anything. Oh my God, it's wasting my time.
Just take the breath and keep an open mind. Possibilities, all possibilities are available. The fourth principle of mindfulness is trust.
Trust.
I'm safe in this moment. I'm in my body in this moment. I'm taking a breath in this moment. And that's a big one that I use to help my anxiety.
And I'm trusting that all is well.
Mhm.
Because it is.
Because all is well. The fifth principle, non-striving. I'm not trying to do something with it. I'm not trying to make something happen in this mindfulness moment.
I'm just being?
You're just being. You're not doing anything. You're not striving towards nothing. The sixth principle is acceptance. I'm accepting this breath. I'm accepting that all of possibility is available to me in this moment. I'm accepting that I'm in this space.
Yes, that's why we're possibilitarians.
Yes.
Thank
And
you,
then
Reverend City.
The seventh principle of mindfulness is to let go. You take in that breath. You have to let it go. You gotta let it go.
But with that breath, when you're letting it go, you let go of the scenario, the situation, the angst, the stress, all of that. Let it flow through you and go. Because holding on to it just causes multiple other problems. Let it go.
That is the 7 principles of mindfulness. I found that when I was looking this up, I was like, wow. I mean, I knew of mindfulness, but I hadn't really defined it or went through or said, okay, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is according to the powers that be out there, that, psychology and all of that, and spirituality and whoever else came up with these different principles. But I just know that I've been practicing these kind of things, and these are the sort of things that we learn as we're doing classes in CSL, and as I've been doing my spiritual journey. I've been learning these things and taking them from different places. And as I do that, I'm like, okay, this one works, especially when I'm on the floor. The mindfulness one works because taking in that breath, sometimes I do it when I'm walking down the hall. That's when I'm doing it. I might not stop still, so people don't even know I'm doing it. It really helps to get me back centered and to make sure that I'm coming from that space of open-heartedness, love, and patience, and non-judgmental, and acceptance.
It is a great reset.
It is absolutely wonderful.
Brings you back to zero. Instead of carrying whatever was bothering you into your next room or into the next person that you're going to interact with, reset. Wipe the slate clean, and deep breaths do that.
Yeah, because you would just parking lot, whatever that is, and then take care of that other patient, and then parking lot. And then when you go out of the parking lot, that's one of the things that Reverend Cindy was teaching us, was the parking lot. Just kind of park it for now, because it's not like you can be.
It's not anything that is immediately needed to be addressed. Slide it over into the parking lot.
I mean, you're going to go back there. You got to get back in the car and drive it, but just put it in the parking lot for now.
Yes.
The other thing is when there are kinds of mindfulness practices.
I thought mindfulness was mindfulness. What do you mean kinds?
There's different kinds. People use different kinds.
Like what?
Like the deep breath work that we did at the very beginning. That's one kind.
Okay, yeah, I get that. That's where my mind usually goes when I think mindfulness.
So in just paying attention to the breath, that's it. You're mindful of the breath coming in
and going out.
And going out. You're mindful of each breath. You're hearing the breath. Then there's another kind. It's called the body scan. And that body scan is what we did earlier.
Yes.
So you kind of did a little bit of
combination
combo of both, right? So the body scan is one that I use a lot for anxiety. Because when I do the body scan, I can talk to I call her my little dragon.
Mhm.
She sits in her little car seat and she's okay. We just kind of soothe my little ego. Here you go, you're okay. That's my anxiety, you're fine. And then something triggers her. She freaks out. So I do that deep breath. And then when I'm doing that deep breath, I do that little body check-in. Okay, the body scan. Where am I? Is the area safe? I look all around me. Am I safe in this moment? And then I tell my little dragon, we're safe. I did the scan. We're okay. And then she gets back in her little car seat with her little binky and she's happy looking at me. Because if not, she freaks out and then she takes over. I put her in a car seat, like Spirit is driving the vehicle. I want Spirit to always be driving the vehicle.
Right.
And my little dragon, which is my ego, is in the back seat in her car seat. She was created when I was born to keep me safe.
Yes.
So that ego self has to stay in the back seat. I can't get rid of her because sometimes girlfriend needs to come out and lay waste in front of us and let people know I'm not to be trifled with. Every now and again, I put her in the front. Don't get it twisted.
I love it when you tell people you're grounded, you're earth.
Yeah.
What is earth? Sometimes.
Oh, well, earth is like grass and trees and butterflies and earth, right? And then sometimes earth is molten lava,
a tsunami,
hurricanes, earthquakes, earth. So a nice, beautiful, balanced earth is, we are aware that there's lava. We just don't trifle with it. And you work in tandem with earth. So the same thing. I know that she exists and I know that she is there. And I have to ask myself, is this something that is needed? Is the dragon needed right now? Or can she just safely sit in the back seat and watch? And most of the time, she just wants to sit in the back seat and watch. She doesn't want to be activated like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
So the body scan really helps me. I do the little body scan because I feel the anxiety coming up. The anxiety usually starts in in my lower chakras and start to work their way up, and my stomach starts to hurt, and I feel like a churning in my stomach, and so everything inside of me, my face starts to feel like my blood is starting to like pool like in my face. I don't know how else to explain it, and then my fingertips start to tingle. And my mouth either goes dry or gets very wet. Like there's a body response that happens when I am triggered by my anxiety like that. When I know that I'm about to step into, oh my gosh, I either need to run away or fight, flight, or freeze. Something happens in your body. And if you can be aware,
taking those moments.
Yes, I just take a little bit I take that breath and I do a little check-in and I ask myself, is this really an actual dangerous moment? Because if it's an actual dangerous moment, then my little dragon is activated. Because my dragon needs to come forward and protect me in this moment because it's dangerous. But if it's not an actual dangerous moment, that's right, practicing the presence. If it's not an actual dangerous moment, why is my activation there? Why do I feel like I gotta this anxiety that's taking over my life?
So some of those predisposed buttons come in to play.
Pre-install buttons.
Pre-install buttons causes you to react to sometimes things that aren't even really there
at all. Nothing at all. And I'll feel my body respond with the churning and the da-da-da. And I'm like, what is this? And being empathetic, I realize that, somebody else's feelings will then influence me. Like I'll get the feeling that they're going through something and it triggers something in me. So then I have to say, wait, this isn't me. This is my response to what I think this person is having.
Or even maybe just be similarities, because remember that instance where this patient of yours reminded you of somebody from your past, and then the next person had the same, the next two people had the same name as that person, and it was just all coming for you today.
And it was
nothing any of those patients did. It was all your stuff
Mhm.
being activated by things that you were putting together in your mind.
Mhm. Absolutely. And that is what we do. We do that all the time. But when that is happening for me now, I go into that mindfulness moment and I say, wait a minute, what is in this moment coming up for me that needs to be healed? Because it's Spirit's way of bringing me these different people with the name from here that came from the same place and whatever. And when it all comes together and something activates inside of me like that, I'm like, oh, what is calling to be healed in this moment? And that's when the loving kindness mindfulness comes in. That's another kind of mindfulness practice. And it's just sending love to that space, sending love to that space, sending love. Earlier, Bonnie talked about it. It's not just a matter of, oh, I'm just going to take a deep breath and realize it's there. I can take a deep breath, realize it's there, and just send love and forgiveness to that space. I forgive myself for working extra hard for that specific little old lady simply because she was so sweet and I just didn't know how to say no.
So sometimes you're saying you have to forgive yourself for being kind?
Yeah. Because my back will remind me that I was ultra kind that day.
Yeah.
You know, or you try to do something on your own because you know your tech is busy or it just needs to be done and you're rushing. I forgive myself for that back pain. I forgive myself for not going to the bathroom. When you find that your bladder, oh yeah, the mindfulness, I'm forgiving myself for this. Instead of saying, oh my God, why did you? Another principle, the principle of mindfulness, you know, that patient and that non-judgment. Instead of saying, oh, why did I do blah, 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 blah. Now it hurts and now I feel the thing and yada, 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 yada. Instead of being judgmental with yourself, just say, I am aware that this is there. Next time I'll make a different choice and I'll pay attention, or I'll sit down when given the opportunity, or I will do blank. And there's other tools that you can use. And you said some nurses will be doing that. And you'll be like, they're not exhausted, but here I am exhausted. Why? Because you're making choices that you could choose something differently. And if you could and had another way of doing things, like I've discovered now, and I mean, I knew that I could use the bed to pull a patient up. When you and the tech are pulling the patient up, you could use the bed and tilt the bed and it helps with gravity.
Right.
But we don't always do it because we're rushing, because it takes a second to tilt the bed. It takes time. You just want to get it done and get the heck out of there and get to the next thing. So next time I make the choice, I'm going to choose to tilt the bed because my back is telling me in this mindfulness moment, you made a bad choice.
But you notice in the things that you're bringing up, a lot of times it's very, very minute little tweaks and things and thoughts and, you know, opportunities that you can take advantage of to help yourself in the long run. You know, take those few seconds to take a deep breath. Take an extra 2 seconds to lift the bed or lower the bed or what have you. You know, just the doingness gets us going so fast sometimes that we forget about taking a second and be smarter.
Well, I mean, we're trained that way. They train us this way. The problem is, though, that when we get into the space and we're actually in the tasking of it, we're so busy having to do 5 million different things for 5 million different people. And I'm saying 5 million because it seems like a lot of people are pulling on your energy all at once while you're in that moment, especially for me. And I'm talking for me as a nurse, bedside, med surge, 6 patients, sometimes 7 in the state of Florida. It is brutal on your body. I am not the only one saying this thing. I'm like, wow, we are losing nurses that are just retiring or just leaving the nursing field completely. And now when we're finally getting paid some money, where we're finally catching up a little bit, we're being told we can't catch up. You're not allowed to catch up. You're greedy. And I'm not saying that some people aren't greedy, but some people deserve it. Some people deserve to not have to have 6 or 7 patients because it's hard. Especially if you have 1 or 2, that's not very stable. they're confused, or they're difficult, or they're needy, now you've been thrown into this whole thing. But in taking that second to take a mindfulness moment to say, wait a minute, what would serve my highest and best in this moment? Please hold. I'll be back. 5 minutes it takes you to go to the bathroom and take care of yourself.
Reverend Cindy, you want to put up her comment there? Compassion is incomplete.
Compassion is incomplete if it doesn't include ourselves. That is so true.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true.
Wayne's below it. Be good. Just be good to yourself.
We get lost in the story. That's another truth. Because you're in the middle of the story, you're thinking nothing else exists but this story. And of course, Wayne, be good to yourself. You have to be, because if you're not good to yourself, guess what? You can't expect anybody else to be good to you. How are they going to be good to you? They don't even know what you need because you don't even know yourself. How are you going to know? By being mindful, by doing a check-in, by taking a moment and saying, wait a minute, what do I really need in this moment? Because sometimes it's not the thing that you think you need. I've noticed that happen to me before, where I'm like, I take a deep breath. What do I really need? I really need to finish this, blah, 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 because it really is due, yada, yada, yada. And it's this extra thing that I put on myself because of my perfectionism. I do that. But when I take that mindfulness moment, I ask myself, is this really needing to be done by midnight tonight, or can it wait until tomorrow? Really? Because of course, my little dragon's out there going, fire breathing. Yes, it has to be done right this second. Or if not, the whole world's coming to an end.
Yep.
And Deb says you can't take care of anybody if you aren't taking care of yourself. And who's going to do that? You. You have to nurse the nurse. You have to massage the therapist. You have to allow the grief doula to grieve. You have to allow the reverend to spiritually take care of herself too. Mm-hmm. Use those same tools and practices that we're teaching others, that we're being paid to do, to actually do for yourself. I said to Norma, we have a beauty salon and day spa, and ask us how often we get massages.
My wife got a massage the other day, and she had to tell everybody because it's been so far and few between, which is sad.
Magic fingers right here, and I'm not. Wow!
Look at the fire coming from your magic fingers.
I'm working on it though. I'm getting better. I teach that which I need to know. Wouldn't it be great? Wait, let me go. Bonnie said, wouldn't it be great if shift change could start with a mindful moment as a group? Bonnie, mic drop. That is a mic drop moment.
Yes.
That is a mic drop moment. But when we were on the bus in New York, right? And I would do that. We're going to do a moment of, and everybody was like, do we have to do this? I'm fine. You're going to have those who are going to say that. But I really think that we should. And I think that, that's why, at least the premise behind some of the Christian hospitals, they try to do the prayer moment and things like that. I think that that's kind of the modality that they use. But for me, I use the mindfulness moment.
Because when they do the prayer moment, for one, that's forcing a lot of things on people that they may or may not believe in. Mm-hmm. Everybody is not of the same religion, the same belief systems, but everybody can do.
Everybody can
self-check. Yes.
It works for everyone. So why not just do it? Well, the last thing we're going to talk about is where we can learn more about mindfulness. We can learn about it in Mind Body magazines.
And if you've never heard of that magazine, it's a great one to look up and try to get a subscription to.
Mm-hmm. The Science of Mind magazine is awesome. They have some great tools in there.
Even better magazine.
Oh my gosh. Daily things that you can do and read. So it's absolutely incredible. So you definitely want a subscription to that. Doctor's offices, your therapist office usually has magazines.
Because there was a comment earlier that said, I think it was Bonnie, that said that the world is changing to
the change.
No, it was something about healthcare. No. She had said something about it was up further with Bonnie. Anyway, she said something about that there is a change happening. That's it. We're evolving.
I found it.
As
We're
a-
evolving as a profession, baby steps. As we know better, we do better. Self-care is trending right now. Yes, it is.
So
That's
more
why
people
we
are
are like,
becoming aware.
please do this.
More people are becoming self-aware
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that, back in the 80s, it was a lot about me, but it wasn't the self-care type of me. It was
That's
what
when
all
it
can
was
I
like
get?
Selfish, yes.
It was the more selfish me. Now, like Bonnie says, it's more trending to be more self-aware and care about yourself and taking care of yourself.
And we're not saying to take away from anyone else. We're not saying that your self-care should be like, I'm in self-care. I'm not gonna be here.
Don't bother me right now. I'm having
for this patient.
That candy. She's like secluded from everybody else and having her, mint and
Yeah, we're not saying, because of course you have to be aware of patients and what's going on, and of course all the beeping, and then this person's gonna come over and talk to you and whatever. But whenever you get a little moment in the middle of it, to just allow yourself to say, I am in this moment. Let me do a little checking. What do I need? Oh yes. Oh, I didn't remember to drink water. Go drink some water. Oh, I need to sit down because my back last week was really hurting. All these different things that you can do in the mindfulness moment to be more aware of yourself, to now know where your boundaries are, to now know what your body, your physical form needs so you can take care of it, so you can show up to your next shift, to make the money, to pay for your bills, to take care of your family. Whatever you have to, if something happens to you, a lot of the times you're the main breadwinner sometimes in your family. You're the main caregiver in your family. So if something happens to you, what's going to happen to mom, or what's going to happen to those children, or what's going to happen to your hubby?
all the doings that you were taking care of.
You have
all those
to
balls drop.
Yes, and all it takes is 10 seconds to breathe and do a check-in. It's all it takes.
So anyway, before we finish up, what are some of the other places that you might be able to find information on these?
Whole food stores.
Yeah, a lot of the health food stores, you go in and they have all kinds of magazines that
churches. A lot of churches are starting to practice these things and add it to their spiritual practices. Spiritual centers like CSL Ocala.
Check them out.
Day spas. Lots of day spas talk about mindfulness, and yoga studios, dance studios. Just really a Google search will do it.
Exactly.
And you will love YouTube, TikTok. There's all kinds of ways out there that you can plug in.
And apparently even on the radio, I was listening to the radio this morning when I was coming from the doctor's office, and the radio shows in the morning love to talk. And they were actually looking up studies where they were saying there's some college that did a 15-year study on people that are in their senior years now, the ones that had an optimistic outlook on life were healthier. They just had all this much more positive, check marks on their little survey. And it all, I'm sure, comes right back to mindfulness, being aware of what it is that you're feeling and correcting it in the moment.
Yeah.
Don't dwell on it for days and then figure, keep that positivity going.
And don't judge it.
And don't
just
judge
know that you're feeling it. Okay, I'm feeling angry right now. And we're breathing.
Breathe through it.
Yeah. Okay. Not because of blah, 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 blah. And then now you have a story. Okay. It's easy with the body stuff, but the mental stuff, I'm feeling sad right now. Because sometimes you'll think, I'm feeling angry. I'm really angry. And then you do a mindfulness moment and you find out that, hey, I'm actually sad. And then when that comes over you, the tears fall and it passes through.
And you work through it.
I encourage you all to just keep taking care of yourself. If it's these tools that you use, then great. If you find something else that you think would be very helpful, go ahead and send us a little message on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or wherever it is, our Instagram page, it doesn't matter.
Or if you have caregivers in your life that could use some of these tools, point them to the New Thought Network and the archives, or go to our website or it was our Facebook page that has all of these. They're recorded. go back and relook at them, share
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, plug in, man. We all need a little bit of help. And be the change you want to see in healthcare. So you start doing it and then share it with your friends. Hey, I found that this helps and keeps my energy going.
So I think that's our final thought for today.
That's our final thought. I love you guys. Thanks so much for joining us and hanging out with us as we talked about mindfulness this week.
Yes. So grateful to be sharing with y'all.
Peace and blessings.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.